The book of Psalms we are trying to present part by part before you, so we could have a full study on the book of Psalms. So Psalm 39 for today. May the Lord add the blessing of His word to us. In Psalm 39, David says, I said I will guard my ways, lest I sin with my tongue. I will restrain my mouth with a muzzle, while the wicked are before me. What David is trying to say, he's trying to control his mouth, he's trying to control his thoughts, he's trying to control his behavior before wicked people or ungodly people. And what David is doing, he says, while he is keeping quiet, in the second verse it says, he was mute with silence, he didn't open his mouth. He held his peace even from good. You know, sometimes when we try to control too much, it's all right controlling the wrong things, but we start controlling the good things also. That means good and bad is controlled. There's no output from us, neither good nor bad. We must know how to choose between the right and the wrong. We must know how to choose when to talk and when not to talk. We must know how to weigh our words, and that is what problem David had. He says, I held my peace also from the good, and my sorrow was stirred up. He says, my heart was hot within me. That means I had something to share. I had something good to tell others. I could help others. I could edify others. But by trying to keep my mouth too quiet, I was withholding all the good things. And that is what David was saying. While I was waiting, while I was controlling myself, time was passing. He says, while I mused, the fire burned. The fire keeps on burning. It does not stop. The sun keeps on moving in its circuit. It does not stop. Time and tide waits for no man. There's the proverb. Time and tide waits for no man. It continues. And we have to adjust ourselves with the time, with the days. As the time and as the seasons are, we must adjust ourselves. And that is what David is saying. That is the mistake he made. He's actually confessing his mistake. He says, my heart was hot within me. My heart has something to share. There's so many good things we can tell people. But because of the bad, because of the negative that comes out of many of our good things also, we withhold that. What is the good of praying? What is the good of fasting? What is the good? Look at those people, they don't fast, they don't pray, they don't go to church, but how they are prospering. That sort of idea comes into us. And so we also back out. In the good that we can do, we back out. So he says, my heart was burning within me. A good person cannot keep quiet. A good person cannot keep away from going to the Lord. A good person cannot stop doing good things and cannot stop speaking good words. When he stops, then something negative begins to happen within him. His heart is burning with a fire, he says, like fire burning within me, and I can't keep quiet. He says, while I was musing, while I was meditating, the fire burned. Then I spoke with my tongue. He says, Lord, make me to know my end. He says, my life is so frail. I am so limited. What is man's life, he says? My life, my time is so short. He says over here, and what is the measure of my days, that I may know how frail I am? How frail, that means how limited I am, how small I am, how quickly my time passes. He says, my time passes as a shadow. My time passes as a shadow and it is soon gone. So he says here, and my age is as nothing before you. Every man at his best state is but vapor. Even a man in his full strength, a young man, a young person likes to run and do things. Everything is very fast. He's always fast, moving fast. Even vehicles, whatever he does, he likes to move fast. He has the energy. So what he's doing, even he says at that time, it says, my life is like a shadow. He says, even at the best time, even at my best, he says, certainly every man at his best state is but vapor. It's like vapor. And that is what James tells us. He says, what is man's life, he says? It's like a vapor bubble. It appears for a moment and then disappears. It's gone. And nobody remembers it anymore. And that is what David is saying. He says, all these things I kept myself busy. You can keep yourself busy in wrong things also. You can keep yourself busy by doing nothing also. You're doing nothing and you're busy. That means you're just wasting your time. And age is passing. Age is passing. Time is passing. There is a time for everything under the sun, Solomon says. There's a time to be born. There's a time to die. There is time to work. There is time to go to school also. It is all in time. When you cross 30 or 40 years, you cannot go back to school. It is impossible for you to go back to school. Your days of schooling is over. And that is the problem you will have if you try to study at that time. It's never too late to learn, but you cannot go back to school. Think of you when you were a 10-year-old, when you were 12-year-old, you were putting on school uniform and going. At the age of 40, 50, think of you putting on that uniform and going. Everybody will laugh at you on the road. So that is what it says here. We must know when to talk, when to speak, when to keep quiet. Sometimes talking too much also is bad. Some people have this gift. They talk and they talk and they talk and they talk. So he says over here, there is a time to talk and there is a time to keep quiet. So may the Lord help us to know when to speak. He says a word, Solomon says that again, a word spoken in season. In the right season, when the right word is spoken, it is like sowing the right seed in the right soil at the right time. Even sowing and reaping has a season. So even in our sowing also, there is a season, there is a time, there is a need somewhere. And supposing somebody is in a big problem, he needs help. And if we don't give that help at that time, and when he's all right, or when he's hale and hearty and he's all right, then when you offer help, it's something out of season. A person, when he's in need, that he needs your help. A word spoken in season is healthy to the bones. So that is what we must know, when to do what. David says, while I kept my mouth shut, the fire burned. Time passed. That means I'm burning up my time. Actually what he's saying, my time is burning out. My life is burning out. What energy you have today, tomorrow you will not have it. What I was doing yesterday, today I cannot do. I also feel like this. I was born yesterday, today I have gone old, and tomorrow I won't be here. That is life actually. Our life is so fast moving, it's like a machine shuttle. It keeps moving so fast, and it doesn't stop for anyone. So therefore, what David is saying here, in verse 7, and now Lord, what do I wait for? My hope is in you. What am I waiting for? What am I controlling for? When I know the truth, when I know God, when I depend upon Him, and when I keep my eyes focused on the Lord, then I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry what is to happen, what is not to happen, when to speak, when not to speak. When the Spirit of God controls me, He'll give me a word in season to speak to the person that needs it. Many times, the words of a wise person is more consoling to a person in time of need than many good works that others have done. I remember when my brother-in-law, there was a tragedy in his family. His 3.5 years daughter had been crushed under a vehicle and gone. And at that time, we didn't know what to do. I just stood by him wherever he went. For nearly 3 days or 4 days, I was continuously by his side, sitting with him, going with him. All the time I was with him. And what happened, after everything was over, after some months, he told me, George Bhai, the greatest consolation I got from anyone was from you, because you never left my side. Now, I didn't speak much. I didn't speak at all. Actually, there was nothing to say. But at the time of tragedy, just our presence. When our presence is there, it consoles a person more than any other help that we can give. So that is what we study with today's psalm. There is so much to say. It says over here, deliver me from all my transgressions. Do not make me the reproach of the foolish. I was mute, I did not open my mouth, because it was you who did it. That is what he realized. David realizes here in verse 9, he knew when to close his mouth when the Lord was working in him. When he realized that it is the hand of the Lord in his life, then he knew that he had to keep his mouth shut. Therefore, Lord, whatever David has spoken to us here, we need to remember. We need to remember when to speak and when not to speak. When to do, when not to do. When a person is in need, he needs us. That is the time we need to stand. It says a friend in need is a friend indeed. That is the thing. You have many friends when everything is going well. At your party you have many friends. At the hospital you have few. That is the way of life. But that is when the person really needs you. That is when your friend, your relative, your believer really needs you, when you're at the hospital, when you're sick. Hallelujah. May God add the blessing of His study of His word by the Psalm 39. God bless you.